Alright guys, at this rate I'll never get this video done. I keep getting interrupted. So this video is the NAN guide part 2. This one is going to be all about what you're going to need to register and what can make it go more smoothly. I cannot actually show you the process because currently registration isn't open. And I wanted to go ahead and make this because truthfully, I don't know when registration will open, and sometimes you don't have a long time to register, so I might not be able to get a video. So I'm hoping to give you as much information here that I can. The first thing you want to do is, after you've figured out who you want to enter, not necessarily who you can enter on your budget, but who you want to enter, you need to take those cards, right? And you need to go onto NAN's website and go to the show archives. And under those archives, you need to check the results that were entered against your cards, because your cards have to match up to those show results or you won't be able to use it. That card will be rejected, that horse won't be entered. So there's 3 important things that need to match up. So you need to look at the back of your card and figure out which show it was for. Once you've done that, you need to go to that archive for that show and look at the results that NAN has. Once you see the results that NAN has, you can check and make sure your card is valid. The things that need to check, that need to match, are obviously it has to be the same show, same date and everything. The class name that you entered the horse in needs to match. So if your horse showed in the light breed division, you wouldn't write down for class name light breed unless that was the class name. You'd write down thoroughbred. Or if it was light breeds, you write light breeds. It needs to be the exact class it showed in, not the division. So don't write artist resin or write stock breeds. You know, I know some shows do call the stock classes stock breeds because they don't split them. But if your show split it, quarter horse, Appaloosa, paint, Mustang, other, and then division with stock breeds, you don't put the division name, you put the actual class name. The horse's name has to match up. So if you called the horse Fred in the show, it got a NAN card, the results say Fred, you have to write down Fred on the card. You cannot change the name. You can try and re-qualify under a whole new show with a whole new NAN card with a whole new name. But if you're wanting to use this card right here, so if we're wanting to use this card to enter the horse into NAN 2014, and my results say that the horse's name is Fred, I have to leave the horse's name as Fred. I can't change it to something better or something that I want more, or NAN's not going to accept that card. The other thing is the owner's name has to match up right. So if you didn't show the horse under your name, it would need to be whoever's name was shown. If you bought the horse from someone, it would be their name that's on the card, and you'd write your name somewhere around here. Okay, you don't cross it out on the other side. You write it over here, your name, the owner's name. That's what you would do if you bought a horse that was already NAN'd and it was NAN'd under someone else's name. It's important to check those because it can save you a lot of time. If you send in some cards and the show results are wrong or something, then if it's coming down close to the deadline, that card just won't be accepted, and then that horse won't get entered, and it's a bad thing. So it's good to go ahead and check your cards. I had a situation last year where I entered a horse and I had already checked the results. I'm pretty good about when the show host emails me saying, hey, you have XX days to get me corrections, looking at it and getting in any corrections. Well, what had happened is last year I only proxied, so I only sent a few horses. So I just sent cards that I knew were good, but I didn't actually check the results, which was a mistake on my part. And then the NAN chair emailed me back and he said, hey, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to accept X cards because there's no results for this show. I was like, what? And so I went and looked at it, and sure enough, somehow only the stone results had got put up online. But so none of the artist resin, none of the custom results were there. So what I had to do was email the show host and be like, hey, do you still have a copy of these results? Because online they don't have full results. So check your cards, avoid any heartache, avoid any, pain and struggles of having to figure out what's wrong. Another thing is to always use your oldest card if you can. And what I mean by that is because you know NAN cards are now good for 4 years. So use your oldest one. Don't use your most recent NAN card if you have older ones to use. Obviously, sometimes you might have to use your most recent NAN card, but I'm saying if your horse has 5 NAN cards and one of them is from last year and then 2 are from this year, use the one from last year. Use your oldest card if you possibly can. Okay, so once you've got your cards worked out, you know who you want to enter, it's going to be time to register. Registering is stressful. I cannot tell you about registering OF Briar. I cannot tell you about registering OF Stones. I cannot tell you about registering the plastics original finishes because I've never entered them. I can't tell you what information you need. I can only tell you about custom and artist resin. I'm so sorry. So, the information you're going to need to register is extremely important, especially if you're going to be entering workmanship. The scales are important because this is all going to be used to split classes. And if you get to NAN and you've entered that information wrong, and let's say you register a horse as a stablemate and it's a traditional, but the class was split between stablemate and traditional, it's very hard to get them to change your tags the day of the show. They're very busy. They don't have time to do a lot of stuff like that. So you have to be careful because then you're going to mess up the numbers of classes and everything. So you run the risk of not being able to enter that horse and not getting your money back for that horse's entry fee. So these next few things I'm about to tell you that you're going to need to know are very important that you have them ahead of time, that you work them out, and that you know you're right. Because if you get to NAN and you're wrong, that horse could just be disqualified. So be aware of that. So obviously you're going to need your horse's name, your show name. What's the show name of the horse? What you put online has to match your card perfectly. Do not try, sorry my dog's sneezing. Do not try and change the name online just because you have the card matching the results and you want to change it. It has to match your cards. You're going to have to pick the breed. This might struggle a little bit because sometimes a breed isn't on there that NAN doesn't have, and it'll say pick other, and then you'll have to type it in. For crosses, you'll have to pick I think it's like an other or something, and then you type it in. So you have to know your breed sometimes because sometimes you're going to have to label it versus actually just picking it from a drop-down list. Color. And if you don't know what color your horse is, ask somebody. Because the worst thing you can do is register it in the wrong color and then the horse either gets split by color instead of size. So like sometimes like last year, thoroughbreds can be a big class, so sometimes they'll split it between bays and blacks and then all other colors. Please, if you don't know what color your horse is, ask somebody, have someone else help you, because if you register it in the wrong color and it gets put in the wrong class, you can be disqualified, especially in workmanship. For your pinto horses, you're gonna have to know what pattern type you have. If you have a Tobiano, you're gonna need to register as Tobiano. If you have an Overo, I'm sorry guys. If you have an Overo, you're gonna have to register it as an Overo. If you have a Sabino, you're gonna have to know if it's Sabino. You're gonna have to know the pattern types, and that's extremely important again because sometimes, a lot of the times, those workmanship classes are split. When you register it, you're gonna pick paint, and then you're gonna pick what type of paint horse it is, or pinto if it's a pinto breed, not an actual paint horse. You're gonna pick what type it is, like if it's Sabino, Torero, whatever. You're gonna pick it, and then NAN, when they see how many they have, are gonna look at the breakdown of what they have. So if they have 80 paint or pinto horses, they're gonna look at how they can split that. Is it by Tobianos? Is it by Overos? So your pattern is extremely important. Your size is also very, 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 very important. Sometimes local shows will let you show horses in divisions that NAN may not. And what I mean by that is you have to be careful because in some shows you can show a classic horse in the stablemate classes, and the judges will let you pick. Does the classic go in stablemate or does it go in traditional? Wherever you want to put it, it can go. At NAN, NAN will tell you how to break it down. Like what's a traditional considered, what's a classic considered, a little bit in stablemate. You need to make sure you're registering your horse in the right scale. If you don't know, ask. Because the worst thing that could happen is, let's say you enter a classic horse as a stablemate because you show him in the stablemate class. So you enter him as a stablemate because you want him to be shown with stablemates. But then the classes are split, traditional and classics, little bits and stablemates. And you put him in the stablemate class, he could get disqualified because that's for stablemates, and by NAN standards, he's a classic. This information is really important that you do it accurately and not do it to what you want it to be. It needs to be accurate. So if your local show lets you choose and you aren't sure if that's right or not, ask somebody. Is this horse considered classic? Is it considered little bit? Is it considered stablemate? Because if you put it in the wrong one, then you could really mess it up. Foals. Ask about your foals. If you aren't sure if your foal is considered a classic scale or a traditional scale or whatever, ask. People are more than willing to help, especially on sites like Model Horse Lab and stuff. There's around NAN, so many people are asking. Big collectors, everything. So many people are asking for help. Just don't be afraid to ask, because like I said, it's important and everybody wants to help you make sure you get the right information. Just make sure you're polite when you ask. Say please, say thank you. Don't rush people. Give them time to respond. If you post something and then a few hours later it doesn't have a response, don't be like, help me now or something. Post it. Say, please, need help. Give me your opinion. What color is this? What size is this considered? And let it be. Just, you know, don't be rude about it. Just make sure you're nice and, you know, thanking people when they help you. So you're going to need all that information to register. The next thing you're going to be able to do is mail in your cards. Do not forget to mail in your cards. And no, you will not get these back. Once you mail in these cards, they're gone. You're not getting them back. So if your horse only has one NAN card and you don't want it to not have a NAN card, like you'd rather have the NAN card than enter it at NAN, don't enter it, because you're not going to get the card back after you win. Or, I mean, sorry, after you go. He's going to take the cards after he's verified all the horses and everything good. After NAN, I think he burns them. So don't plan on getting your cards back. If you want that horse to have one NAN card, then you're better not to send it in. If you really prefer to have a card, then go to NAN. Other than that, that's the only things I can really think of that you absolutely need to have ready to register for NAN. Make yourself a list. It's so much easier to register if you go through all these things I just said and kind of have a little list and kind of know what you're going to be doing. That way it's not frantic and you're like rushing around when you're registering and getting flustered. You kind of will already know the horses you need to ask questions about. If you're a little bit iffy, when you see NAN's actual standards for registering, you can go, okay, these were the horses I had questions about. These are the horses I still have questions about. I know which ones to ask about now. I hope this helped you guys. I'm going to work on part 3 soon. I'm so sorry my videos have been delayed. I've been so busy working. It's just been insane. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. I hope you all have great school breaks, great time with your family this season. And hopefully I'll be back soon with a new video. Once again, thank you for all the support. Thank you for all the emails, comments. I'm sorry if I don't respond to comments quickly or see some. YouTube's doing like a really weird thing. They're really mad I won't switch over to Google+. So looking at my comments is so hard. I can see that I have like 4, but sometimes I can only see 2 of them, and then it's like, oh, in order to see the rest of your comments, sign up for Google+. I really don't want to do that. I haven't done it. I'm going to try not to do it. So if I miss your comment, I'm so sorry. I'm not ignoring you. I just can't see it because I haven't transferred to Google+. So, alright guys, I'm going to wrap this up. It's gotten long. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful, wonderful holidays. Bye!